Hi and welcome to your next at home workout. I really hope that you've been enjoying them so far. Got another cracker for you today. I'm going to show you the movements as always, then we're going to get warmed up and then we are going to get going. Movement wise, we're going to be using our resistance bands. I've got mine not anchored for once, just with the handles on. I've got my blue band, which is equivalent to 25 pounds of resistance. I'm also going to be using my heaviest resistance band, which is my black one, but for anyone else that equates to the 30-pound resistance, which I'm going to be using for some deadlifts. And then we're going to be using a step. Now I'm going to be jumping onto my aerobic steps, but what I recommend for you guys is that you would do a stair jump. You can jump to the first or the second step depending on what you'll feel comfortable and confident with, or you can add in some squat jumps if you don't feel happy doing those. If you don't like to do the bigger jumps, you can use a single step or your bottom step and just run up and down onto it as fast as you can. And we're going to be doing that kind of movement in between each of our sets to keep our heart rate up nice and high throughout the session. So let's get going and start by showing you the movements that we're going to do. First of all, we have our single leg deadlift, and I'm going to bring the phone down to the floor so you can see what I'm doing. And we're starting with nice soft bouncy knees, one foot planted firmly, one foot floating behind you. And what you're going to do is push that foot back along the floor as far as you can. And you're going to leave the foot floating above the floor, but you're going to push back as far as you can. And what you'll notice through that movement is my hips coming backwards, which means I'm getting movement, getting feeling through the glutes and a little bit down the back of my leg. So that is number one. We also have some press ups, and I'm going to show you three different versions here, so you can get a feeling for what the right one is for you. So I'm going to start with, if I come down into this position, a box press up. So we're coming down on hands and knees. Knees below your hips, hands below your shoulders. You want your hands quite wide apart, because as you press down to the floor, you want your elbows to be hitting about 90 degrees. And you're lowering yourself down to the floor, being very careful not to hit your nose. Next, we have a 3/4, and with our 3/4, we're in a 3/4 plank position, same hand position as in the box. So from the front, nice wide hands, and with this you want to really be keeping your back nice and straight, and ideally you want to be tucking your pelvis under so everything is nice and well engaged through your core. And then finally, we have a full body. With our full body, keeping the same hand position, same pelvic tilt, and dropping down. So those are your three options. Excuse me. And what we're going to go for is a set of 10 when we get going. Next, we have a deadlift. Now, it's kind of a deadlift squat hybrid, but I'm going to demo it to you so you can see what it looks like. So coming back down to the floor, I'm using my thicker band for this one. Apologies, all tangled up. I'm using my thicker band for this one because we're using big muscles so they can take the work. And I'm doubling mine up. So I'm holding the clips in one hand and I'm holding the loop with the other. And I'm going to put my feet over the middle of the band. Let's do it from the side. I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to push my hips back. And I'm going to come up. And as I come up, little pelvic flick forwards and a big squeeze of the glutes. Now, I will warn you with this one, if you're doubling up, it can be quite uncomfortable on your feet if you've got bare feet. So if you're doubling up, definitely use your trainers. I'm stubborn, so I'm going to try and power through. Or you can use it undoubled, that's fine too. Whatever's giving you the right amount of workout is fine. So that's that one. Coming back up. Next, we have a lateral raise. Now I'm using my bands with my handles. I'm standing in the middle of the bands. You want to check to make sure you're even, because you're going to be lifting both arms at the same time. And what you're going to be doing is lifting and bringing both arms up to the side. We're going to come this way so you can see what my hand's doing. So we're coming about up to shoulder height, just above for me. And you want to feel, you can't really see my arm position that clearly, but you want to feel that you're kind of leading with the elbow and the little finger a bit. And what that's going to do is it's going to help focus the work in these muscles here, which are your deltoids, rather than getting your back too heavily involved. So that's just a little hint for you. Okay, so next we are going to use our anchor, and for this one I have got, for this one I'm going to carry on using the blue ones. Sorry, forgot what I was doing then. I'm going to take our band, going to clip on the anchor point, we're going to shut it in the drawer. And then what we're going to do, we're going to pull the handles out so you've got a nice tension on the band. You're going to push forward and come back. Now if it's too easy, step further away, because that will increase the challenge. Or you can up the level of resistance band that you've got on your points. And then finally, what we're going to do is a movement called a curtsy lunge. So I'm bringing down the camera again so you can see. And a curtsy lunge is a lunge, but rather than going straight forward or straight back, what you're doing is you're coming back and to the side. And what that's going to do is it's going to work these inner thigh muscles, otherwise known as your adductor group. And it's a lunge, but with slightly different foot positioning. And what we're going to do is obviously both sides to make sure that we're even. Okay, so without any further ado, that's the movements. Let's get warmed up and then we will get going. Now this session's format is we're doing straight sets, which means that we are doing 3 sets of 10. Now, if we're doing 3 sets of 10 on a single leg exercise, like the curtsy lunge or like the single leg Romanian deadlift, then what we're going to do is obviously do it twice. Then we're going to do our jumps or our stair runs, which you can substitute for a squat jump or sprinting on the spot if you want to. Just want to keep your heart rate up nice and high at the end of each of the exercise. So at the end of the 3 sets. Do excuse me, it's a child outside. So yeah, let's get going. We want to get warmed up. So as always, we want to get you nice and warm before we start. Make sure that your body's ready to go. So we're going to start just by jogging it out on the spot. We're going to bring our arms forward and back, stretching out through the chest. Really getting everything nice and loose. And then we're going to keep up that jog. If you can't jog, then a nice brisk march. And we're going to windmill our arms. And then coming the other way. Doesn't matter which direction you start with, because we're going to reverse at some point through the warm-up anyway. Then what we're going to do is drop your arms and bring your knees up. And then down into butt kicks, stretching out through the quads, all the muscles down the front of your legs. Come to standing. You're going to do nice big rotations through the hips. So taking your knee, drawing some nice big circles round. then what we're going to do is you're going to grab a tin of beans, grab something that you can hold on to, or just do it with your hands out in front of you. I'm going to rotate to the side, loosening up through the upper spine. And then we're going to hold the weight or just your hands in front of you and drop down into a squat, pushing forward with your arms. One more. Then I'll bring this down to the ground. So what we're going to do is stand and lunge down, not proper lunging, just bending your knees so everything comes down to the ground. Two more. And you are ready to go. So we're going to start. We're starting with our single leg Romanian deadlifts, and we have got 3 sets of 10. So we're going to be doing these for quite a while. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 1 set of 10 on each leg, and I want you to pause me, and then I want you to crack on and finish off the other 2 sets. So knees nice and bouncy, floating that other foot behind you and pushing back. As far as you can. I'll move back so you can see my front knee. Letting those hips go back. You want to get as low as you can. One more on this side, and then swapping to the other side. So same thing again. Pause me, do your other 2 sets, I'll see you for your jumps. So, if you've done as requested, you will be ready for your jumps. In my case, I'm doing them onto my steps, and I'm going to be going for 12. If you're squat jumping, I want you to go for 12. If you are stair running, whether it's the first or second step, I want you to go for 20, but I'll do 12 on here. And 12. Phew, that'll warm you up. So now we have our press ups coming down to the floor, so move the camera. I'm going full body, but you can do any of the 3 varieties, and we're going for 10. Three more. and rest. Now we have our next lot of jumps, so let's go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Grab a quick drink if you need to, moving on as quickly as you can if not. Next, we're coming down for these deadlifts. Apologies. Nothing like being a seasoned pro. So I'm getting my heaviest band and bringing it down. I'm doubling up, although you don't have to. So standing, hips back. So there's my 10, 2 more sets for you, and I'll see you on the jumps. I'm going to move you back slightly and tilt you that way, there we go. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's a bit of a cracker. So, we are on to our lateral raises. So standing feet in the middle, check that you're about even, and go. Three more. So that's your 10. Pause me, do another 2 sets, and back at the jumps. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Whew. Okay, now we have our Pallof presses. So for this, getting my band with the handles on, clipping it onto the anchor. Anchor is set at roughly shoulder height. Gripping both handles and stepping far away enough that you've got some good resistance, but that you can still push straight forwards. It's a bit too light for me. And we're going for 10. 10 changing sides. Try and stand in a very similar position so you get the right amount of resistance on the band. And rest. You're going to be pausing me, doing your other 2 sets, and then see you for the jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Finally, we have our curtsy lunges. So again, we've got 10 on each side, and we're off. Now if you need to, you can find something to hold on to help steady yourself. If you struggle with these, just do a normal lunge. And then swapping sides. This is my wobblier side. Most people have them. So, that's my 10 on both sides. Pause me, I'll join you for your last set of jumps. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you are done. Well done. So grab a drink, towel off if you need to, and let's get stretched off. With all those jumps, you've earned it. So, one hand straight in front, hand on your elbow, and pulling it in, stretching out through your shoulders. The lateral band raises that you did were your deltoids. So these muscles at the top here, so it's good to give those a stretch. And release. Hands together, linking your fingers and pushing forwards. Really rounding forwards through those shoulder blades. Then releasing, hands behind your back, and really squeezing your shoulder blades back, stretching out through the chest. And release. rolling your shoulders. Now I'm going to do a slightly different glute stretch to what I normally do. And it's a sitting one. You're going to sit with your legs straight out in front of you. You're going to pick up one foot. You're going to bring it over the other leg as close to your body as you can. And then you're going to pull your knee in towards you. And you should feel a stretch through the glute. Or, in layman's terms, through your bum cheeks. Really pulling it in towards you as far as you can. And then swapping sides. If you don't like this one, you can do a standing glute stretch. Or you can do one that's lying down. And release. Then we're going to come up for hamstrings. So you're going to start with your feet together, step back, bend your back knee and really tilt your pelvis so you get a good long stretch down the back of your thigh and your straight leg. Then reaching down towards your toes. Doesn't matter if you can touch them or not, it's just stretching out even further. Then pulling your toes up. And that moves it down so it hits the back of your calf. Or back of your lower leg. And then swapping sides. So really tilting your pelvis as much as you can. Reaching down. And then toes up. And then coming up to standing. And then finally, we'll do our quads. So holding onto something, steady yourself if you need to. Bring your heel up to your bottom. You want to keep your knees together and push your hips forward. That'll help give you a better stretch. Keeping your foot as close as you can to your bottom. And then releasing. And doing the same on the other side. Whoop. As you can see, I'm very wobbly with these. Really pushing your hips forward. And release. And you're all done. Well done. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know and I'll see you again next time.